Hello everyone. Today it's snowing, but I figured I would actually get outside and go do some fun things today because I have the day off. And so I figured I might as well film getting into the car and how to transfer to one for people who are learning to or have somebody who are learning how to start driving again. Um, as I've said in a previous video, like you do not have to have a van to drive. I have hand controls on my car, and as you can see, it's a very small sedan. It's a Ford Focus. It's the car I've owned. I've had it since 2014. I've only been injured for like a year. It's staying with me until it dies. And then this is how I get into the car. And I start by taking the armrest off and the hip guard because you cannot go over that. Well, you can, but it kind of impedes your focus. Or not so much focus, but your momentum. And I still use a slide board to get into the car. I've seen so many videos of people who do not use a slide board, so I do trust like one day I'll be strong enough, but it's not today. And then what I do is I just take the slide board, I make sure one end is on the driver's seat. It also works for the passenger seat, of course. Either way, it just depends on which side you're getting in on. And you put the other side underneath your thigh. And I like it so that it's almost touching the other thigh because I'm going to come forward and move onto it. But you want enough, about equal amounts on the surface that you're transferring from as to where you're going, because you do not want it to come off the seat with you. It's a fun experience. I don't recommend it. And then how I get forward on it, I use both hands to kind of lift. I use this one on the arm and this one on the actual board to just kind of keep it in place and move forward. That way you're not going over the wheel. And then from here, it's pretty straightforward. You go from here to there. And then from here, you just grab your feet and put them in the car. Remember, your joints work. So like you don't have to try and haul your legs up with its whole mass. Just grab it by the knee, pull it in. And voila, you are now in the car. Or I'm in the car, rather. And then, of course, you can't go anywhere without the wheelchair, so you're going to get that into the car now, too. I just move over a little bit so I can free the slide board up, and I put that in the back seat, which is where the majority of the wheelchair is also going to go. And then some people, if your car is big enough, like you might not have to break it down as much or as far. And of course, if you have a van, you could probably just like drive it right on it. But for this, I'm going to take the brakes off so I can maneuver it so I can get the wheels off. And of course, when you live where there's weather, you're going to have snow. It's going to be wet. So when you're putting him in the back seat, don't put it directly on the cushion. You could, but we want to try and keep that dry. And then I also have this seat, I didn't say that, but my driver's seat I do keep pretty much folded flat, and that's to give me enough space between steering wheel and myself to bring the wheelchair in. And it just makes like bringing all the little bits into the car easier. And we just do it to the other side. I like to keep the arms and the hip guards right underneath the driver's door, so that way I can quickly grab them when I'm getting out of the car. And the same with the tippy bars, because I still use tippy bars. If I didn't use the tippy bars, I'd be on my head multiple times a day. And then this, I don't know, I've never really timed it. I think it takes about 5 minutes to get everything into the car and me to go, but you also have to add that time when you are going somewhere. So that means you add like 10-15 minutes onto like where you're commuting to make sure that you can get there on time. Or you can always use it as a great excuse for being late, because I guarantee you almost no one is going to hold that against you. You'd be like, I'm sorry, it's just so hard with the wheelchair to be on time sometimes, and they're just gonna go, okay. Do with that information as you will. Oh. And you have to take these guys off to get them in the car also, because I have tried to get them in. They just get stuck on the steering wheel or yourself, which is not fun, trying to like yank something in there and you don't know what it's actually caught on because you can't feel. And this guy, when I first started learning, the first time that I actually got this wheelchair into this car by myself, it took about 25 minutes. And it was a lot of just me trying to figure out how to get this into the car. And once I figured it out, it's so much faster. But if it's taking you a very long time, don't worry. You'll do it so many times, you'll get so much faster at it. And ta-da! If you're going to take your dog with you, might as well. That's my puppy Alice. And now you are fully in the car. You are ready to go. Unless you're going to get your dog in here, and then you can also call her up into the driver's seat. Or I recommend just making sure that they learn how to load into the back seat. You don't want your dog to be in your driver's seat all the time. But other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I love you all. We'll see you next time.